We are doing an interview with the candidates. We're going to meet the candidates. So today I have with me David Fauth, right? That's how I want to make sure I pronounce your name right.
Yes, yes, David Fauth.
David Fauth. And he is running for Aquia, the school district, the school board for Aquia district. And I'm so glad that, I have the opportunity to talk to him. But also I'm glad that, I'm seeing a new face that is running, and that for me is a new face, but to you all he may be you've seen him before, but I'm happy to talk to him. So thank you so much for joining me today, David.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for hosting, and thank you for inviting me to meet with you for a while.
Yes. So tell me, what made you run? Like, what was the catalyst that made you want to throw your hat in the ring?
I think there were two reasons as I think about it. One is the local elections are so important. In Stafford County, we have 7 Board of Supervisors and we have 7 school board members. So those 14 people really impact your day-to-day life, whether it's your children going to school, whether it's your roads, it's your taxes. So it's really an important decision. So we need people to run for those offices, and it's an area where we can impact your local community. And second was looking back at some of the previous elections. The last election for Aquia School Board, there was only one person running. So it's really hard to have an election when you only have one person. It's important to give voters that opportunity to choose between candidates. And whether they agree with me or they would agree with my opponent, I think it's important as a civic duty to have people get out and vote and have an opportunity to vote for, 2 different candidates.
And I like that. Like, you want to make sure we have options. I don't live in Aquia, but I know others who do. I live in the Garrisonville district. So I love the fact that you're giving the options, but also, everybody brings something different to the table. So having only one person kind of like, you don't have a lot of choice. So, you have one. So this is a great way. So I see that you've been a resident for over 25 years. So your roots are here.
Yes. I mean, this is home. I have 4 children that have gone through Stafford County Public Schools, and everything from Kiddie Hawk preschool at Brooke Point through Stafford Elementary, Stafford Middle, Brooke Point. So, yeah, it is home, and it's important. I mean, my children had a great education, and we saw the gamut from governor's school to regular diplomas to my youngest son had some challenges that we had to work through with the schools. So, all of these things are important. And all these things, I think, are important for citizens.
I think so too, because I'm a parent of 3, and all my children have gone through from Kate Waller all the way up to North Stafford. So for me, it's a big deal to know like there's someone in office that is looking out for the children, because I wouldn't necessarily think that someone who doesn't have kids could run for school board. Not saying that they have to have kids, but if are familiar with the school district, I think that you can bring more to the table. So, and I love the fact that you've had 4 children to go through Stafford County schools, and you understand, and you kind of have an idea of what to do, how you can help.
Right. I think it's important because I've seen that. I've seen the good teachers, we've had really good teachers, and then they move on and you're like, oh man, I had such a good experience. And, we've lost that teacher, whether it's they've gone to another district, they've moved out for various reasons. So it's important to maintain and retain those teachers as much as we can. I think the school board currently working on pay is important.
Yes.
But I think going back to this partnership with the Board of Supervisors and the school board is how do we make Stafford a place where you want to live? I mean, I've been here 25 years, and, I was talking to my wife last night that it's hard to go out for ice cream. We don't have a place that I can go and grab ice cream and sit with a neighbor or a friend and talk about things. It's hard if you're a new teacher or family to make this a family-oriented place to live. So yeah, I think that's really important.
I agree with that because, I know back home in South Carolina, we had an ice cream place. Those are things that make a difference. And then with the traffic and then other issues that are, coming into play. But the main thing is the cost of living, making sure teachers are paid for, to go along to coincide with the cost of living. Like, that's one of the things that I've seen has been a main sticking point with teachers, and I want to keep great teachers. So I think, we need to.
Right, and I want to make sure that it's not just focused on teachers, it's bus drivers, it's
Yes.
the other support staff that, we gloss over a lot of times because we're focused on teachers or administration, but those are important as well.
You're right about that, because you know what? The first person to see the children are the bus drivers when they're getting on this bus.
Exactly.
Because I still remember my bus driver. That's a good thing to have to remember. Like, so you're right. They should be taken care of as well. So when we say teachers, we need to say everyone, school staff,
Correct.
period.
Right.
So that does, because and then also with our environmental services, I think that's what they're called now, custodians or something like that. I think they're called environmental services. They make the school, they keep everything running, even down to the food service. Like, all of these things, these things are connected. So you're right about that. We have to take care of everyone. So I love that you are not just focusing on teachers, you're focusing on the whole.
Yeah, it becomes a community because they all impact. And the other thing is, I really think the school, each individual school, and you probably saw it with your children, you have a North Stafford community that rallies around the school itself, the athletics, the band, the extracurriculars. And we would go to the football game in Brooke Point, we would sit with our neighbors, and it was a social event, but it helped build a community. And those things are so important to build that community of Stafford. And we would have friendly rivalries, but you're still building up Stafford as a whole.
Right. And then they instead of becoming, because then everyone becomes family, and then we get that connection. Even though the turnover here with families and stuff, because of the military families, it's kind of, we have a shift every couple years. We still want to make sure we're inclusive. And I love that you want to create and foster that environment of family and community. So tell me a little bit about your background. Where did you go to school? Did you have a career? Like, what about David?
Yeah, so I grew up in South Dakota. So I grew up actually, a fun fact is I went to a one-room country school through 7th grade. So, Little House on the Prairie type thing. Graduated from a small high school where there were 40 in my whole high school.
Oh, wow.
So, so I've been in a small school, and so I kind of understand, those opportunities or those, basically lack of opportunities. So there was no calculus, there was no AP, there was no advanced physics. So when I went to college, it was a shock. So, some of the things that I think about is how do we create those opportunities for other students in Stafford County? I went to the Merchant Marine Academy. I have a master's from George Mason, and for about 20 of my years here in Stafford, I was a consultant working up in the Washington, D.C. area. So a lot of experience with budget, a lot of experience with IT, with policy. So a lot of experience there that I hope to bring to the board to help, foster good financial things. And then for the last 5 years, I've been a pre-sales engineer for a software company. So working at home, but still doing some travel.
Oh, that's nice. I don't miss my pre-sale engineer days at all. I don't miss it, but I understand it. So you said, I get it.
So a lot of that, so as I think about that, a lot of it is, how do you listen? How do you actually listen to people and understand, what the real issue is? Because as we talk to people, they may tell you like 20 things, but, as you really have to listen to what they're saying. What are the important issues? What's their real problem? And as we listen to parents, as we listen to all the different people that the school board will interact with, there'll be a lot of listening to really understand what the underlying issues are, and then go about how do we fix it. And I would say there's a lot I don't know. I definitely don't know a lot about, the day-to-day operations of the school board. So it'll definitely be a learning curve.
I'm excited to see exactly where you're going to what you're going to bring to the table. I know we're going to hear a lot more from you getting closer to the election, but I love the fact that you have the background and you understand about community and how you can touch the teachers, the support staff, all these pieces. So these are the great things that tie in. And plus you're a problem solver, because you have to understand engineering is, that is, a big thing, and we found a solution to a problem that may or may not exist, or you're getting to a solution. So that's a great thing. So what do you hope to impart on you if you're elected? What do you hope to leave as your legacy on the board?
Oh, that's a great question, and I'm not sure I've really totally thought about it, but I think looking forward over the next 4 years, there's probably two big things that I can see coming down. Well, probably three. I mean, one is a new superintendent's coming on board, so we really don't know what those dynamics are. Mm-hmm. So, there could be a lot of change. So, part of that will be how do we work well with him and with the existing members on the board that will be there for the next 2 years. We're starting, I know the school board just announced that they're going to negotiate procurement of land for high school 6. So again, we're growing. I mean, we need a new high school. I'm sure we'll need a new elementary, middle school. We're just growing. So that's going to be a dynamic, but that will also feed into redistricting. And, if you've been here any length of time in Stafford County, redistricting is not a fun task. And, I think we need to really think beyond personal, what's best for me and my family, and, start to think what's best for the community as a whole, and how do we make sure that certain communities that are normally underserved, that are socioeconomic routed to, that aren't going to, I guess, the colonial forages.
Right.
How do we make sure that's a little more fairly distributed? How do we make sure people have the opportunities that they can do to succeed? And I'm concerned about that, because I've seen that in the last one where there's just, fighting after fighting.
Yep.
People are out, a lot for themselves and I want to be that person that's, listens to both sides, and how do we compromise and be known as someone that can compromise and work with, both ends of the spectrum.
I like that, because we're growing and we have to evolve and change with that growth, because we have to make sure that our board is ready to adapt and to go along with this growth, this continued growth, and also those underserved communities. I love that that's one of your focus. So I am excited. I'm glad that you were able to speak to me today. As a citizen standpoint, I am very, very happy on you telling me your views. I hope that this interview will allow for others to gain insight and know who they're going to vote for in November. I do want to tell everyone, please make sure you go to Facebook, follow, like his Facebook page, and also follow along, because he's you're very informative on your Facebook. I looked, and you share you share great information, so I love that, and I think that you're on the right path with what you want to do, and I'm happy about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to say, I guess the other thing I wish we could do as a county would be more of the public-private partnership.
Yes.
I just saw where the Bank of America is donating, tens of thousands of Chromebooks into Charlotte, into the core city of Charlotte, to help, families without laptops to have that, because it not only affects their, school life, but it allows parents to apply for jobs, apply for benefits. And, we have, I know Mount Ararat paid off some of the school lunches debt a couple of years ago, things like that, where I wish we would have more public-private to really help the schools, whether it's help a classroom, and the more that we can do that as a community, the better our schools and the whole overall community will be.
I agree with you on that. I think that, we have some large corporate individual businesses here. So we need to that's one of the things we need to, it needs to come into play. We need to have those partnerships to assist with because a lot of it comes out of the county budget. So let's kind of give back, reach back. And we're here. So I agree. Like, this is the things that most people do not see, and I think that we need to bring more light to it, and I love the fact that you brought that up, so I'm happy about that. So can you leave everyone with just a statement on why they should vote for you and, you know, where to find you?
Sure. Again, I'm really here to serve the community. I don't have an agenda, that I per se for myself. I've been here in Stafford for 25 plus years, so I want to, continue the quality of Stafford County schools, work for everyone involved. You can find me on my Facebook. I don't remember it, but also Fauth for Aquia.org, FAUTH, the number 4, Aquia.org. So feel free to reach out to me. And lastly, get out and vote. Please vote. It is so important. If you look at historical, about 4,000 people will decide among these 14 important positions every year. It's only, 4,000 people that impact your children, your schools, your day-to-day life. So please get out and vote. It's so important.
Thank you so much, David. I am excited. I wish you nothing but prosperity and success on your campaign. I'm going to tell everyone that because everybody should run the race and be excited about it, but also make sure that, community is everything. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for speaking to me today. I can't wait to see more of you on the campaign trail.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.